I've always found that doing these interviews is immensely helpful for me because I get to learn from other people and you get to lean over my shoulder and learn as I go along. But sometimes in your life, you get the odd person who changes your life, and those people change your trajectory, and you're very lucky to find them. They only happen a few times. And, that I think is the serendipitous journey of building a network. Building a network is one of the most important things that we can do in our lives. It really adds value to you, and you do it by adding value to other people. The more value you bring to a network, the more valuable it is to you in the end and to everybody else.
BitcoinZella stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to BitcoinZella today and enjoy the new edge. Raoul Pal welcomes Real Vision favored Mark Hart, CEO of CIO and chairman of Corriente Advisors, for a wide-ranging conversation on Bitcoin, global macro headwinds, the exponential age, and much more.
When I left the hedge fund industry, I started Global Macro Investor, my kind of premium research service. That's read by family offices, high net worths, sovereign wealth funds, asset managers, RIAs, and hedge funds. It's, I think, without question by now, got the best track record of any research service in the world. I've been writing for 20 years. I'm immensely proud of it. We had our ups and downs too. Obviously, you go to globalmacroinvestor.com and check it out. You can read the story there. But it's not about the story of GMI, but the fact is my next guest was the third ever person to sign up. After GLG, who was my ex-employer, and Goldman, my employer prior to that, this guy signed up out of the blue. And he's been with me and we've been close friends ever since. This guy not only showed me what a great macro investor can look like. I mean, he, without being very public about it, was one of the main players behind the CDS trade, the big short trade. He did exceptionally well. He saw it, and he ran money for some very famous people and did extremely well. The European sovereign crisis, he got that one too, well before anybody else saw it coming. He was the guy. So this person, Mark Hart, has been on Real Vision several times. In fact, many of you have seen his original masterclass interview where he talks about some of those stories of old. But Mark's bigger than that. He's in fact probably one of the most influential people in my life. When I grow up, I want to be Mark Hart. You see, when I launched Real Vision, Mark was very helpful with Real Vision, and obviously was one of the first key interviews that we had, and people didn't know him and people were blown away. But he also introduced me to Tim Ferriss and said, hey, I've been doing this with my life and re-engineering my life. And Tim Ferriss was on Real Vision, and I was on Tim's podcast, and Tim's is one of the biggest podcasts in the world. But that started me a journey of health and wellness, and that was Mark that started that for me. Also, Mark, you go to his office, and his whole office is set up around wellness, learning, art. Incredible. He's kind of a bit of a Renaissance guy. And I've always been jealous of that of him. But every time I see him, he comes with new perspectives. I mean, whether it's talking about flow state, whether it's space. I remember he came to a Real Vision event and started talking about how his big investment thesis was space. And this was like 2017. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, Mark? Obviously, he was dead right. And that's been a big thesis for many people, and we've seen what has happened since.
According to crypto traders, many altcoins are currently displaying some bullish patterns that, if they play out as expected, could soon see the market enter an up-only season. Altcoin Season Index has been forming one of the most bullish patterns for 3.5 years. Pseudonymous analyst Mustache declared in an October 11 post on X. The analyst was referring to an inverse head and shoulders IH&S chart pattern that had formed on Blockchain Center's Altcoin Season Index chart, between 2022 and 2024. An inverse head-and-shoulders pattern is a bullish indicator that signals the downtrend is easing and buyers are becoming more dominant in the market. This means that Bitcoin's dominance could be waning and altcoins could begin to outperform, signaling the start of an altcoin season. Up-only season is near, in my opinion, Moustache added. Although the index has been recovering, it currently stands at 39, meaning only 39% of the top 50 cryptocurrencies by market capitalization have outperformed Bitcoin over the last 90 days, according to Blockchain Center. This falls short of the 75% level required to declare an altcoin season. Meanwhile, the stochastic RSI, a momentum oscillator that measures the relative position of the RSI within its range over a specific period, has produced a bullish crossover on the 3-week chart, which independent analyst Titan of Crypto claims is a signal that a major #alts rally could be just around the corner. A bullish crossover occurs when the stochastic RSI crosses above its signal line, indicating a potential upward trend. Typically, when a bullish crossover forms on the 3-week stochastic RSI, a powerful move to the upside follows. The ongoing recovery in altcoins is part of a rebound in TOTL3, the total market cap of all cryptocurrencies excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum that began on September 6. Data shows that Total 2 has increased by 19% from a low of $516.7 billion on September 6 to a high of $617.8 billion on October 7, before retracing to the current value of $601.5 billion. This uptick has seen TOTL3 rise above a key support zone, stretching from $589 billion to $596 billion, as shown on the daily chart below. Note that all the major moving averages, including the 50-day exponential moving average EMA, the 100-day EMA, and the 200-day EMA, sit within this demand zone. Traders booked profits as the Relative Strength Index RSI on the daily chart reached near overbought conditions at 69 on September 30, suggesting that the altcoins were becoming overvalued. Altcoins are still pursuing the uptrend as they remain above the ascending trend line. The movement of the RSI from 45 to 53 over the last 3 days suggests that the market conditions favor the upside. If TOTL3 holds above the major resistance zone mentioned above, altcoins could continue their recovery, and a sustained recovery could signal the beginning of the much-awaited alt season.
So let's talk a little bit about the your Bitcoin view. So what is your kind of overarching before we go into all of the other technology and other stuff you're investing in? What's your overall thesis on it? Why does it matter to you?
Yeah, well, I would just say that I'm like religious about Bitcoin per se. I do think it's has the potential and Bitcoin related to be extraordinarily, disruptive to the sort of incumbent financial system. And I think that's why you get sort of the, shrieking attacks on it as an incumbent is sort of under threat. But I guess to me, I've talked about this, I think, on here, it's like trying to understand sort of the value of Bitcoin or a value of, any kind of asset and, what makes it, what gives it value. And I guess the sort of 6 characteristics that I've outlined before that kind of define the value of any asset are, access, awareness, security, patina, kind of, return on investment, and use as collateral. And, I've talked about this quite a bit, but where I think we are now is as Bitcoin is kind of continuing to be adopted, there are a couple of those areas, like if you think about it, like to cut back, so like access, how easy is it to access something? And I think that, as Bitcoin is spreading globally, that access is improving maybe relative to other currencies, other stores of value, et cetera. Awareness is continuing to improve, and it's always changes in the 6 factors that will drive the price. Security, obviously, Bitcoin security at this point can be pretty well perfected. One of the problems, like with alternate assets like the dollar, is in fact a lack of security. It doesn't mean that there's no value in dollars or there won't continue to be value in dollars for a long time, but there's a tax on dollars. I pointed out that I think that tax is the sum of sort of productivity gains and inflation. So that's sort of your, bogey that you have to hit, or that's the tax on holding a dollar. So,
Congressperson John Curtis, a United States representative for the state of Utah, took the stage at Permissionless II with Utah Senator Mike Lee to discuss the future of digital asset policy in the country. When asked if the bipartisan cooperation on the repeal of Staff Accounting Bulletin 1, which made it incredibly restrictive for banks to custody crypto, was making a comeback, the member of Congress responded, "I think so, but it's very fragile." He continued, "I think it's really important for all of us, all of you as you push this issue in Washington, to realize if it becomes a partisan issue, we'll have a very, very difficult time. Anything in Washington that becomes partisan struggles. So I think it's important to find connection points with Democrats to reach a consensus on regulatory policy," Curtis concluded, before noting that fellow lawmakers had trouble understanding the complexity of cryptocurrencies. Curtis then called upon industry professionals to educate lawmakers and carefully explain the technicalities behind the crypto industry to dispel lawmakers' fear of the unknown. Lee characterized letting states decide their crypto policies as death by 50 cuts for the industry, and made it clear that digital assets are a new type of asset class requiring novel regulation. Cryptocurrency is not a security. Cryptocurrency is not a commodity. Cryptocurrency is used as a medium of exchange, the senator told the audience. "I don't even think we should tax the capital gain on the transfer of it," Lee said. The Utah senator concluded by stressing that for innovation to thrive in the crypto industry, the government must resist the temptation to overregulate or throttle the nascent sector. And do not forget to subscribe to Bitcoin Seller. The most important news will reach your inbox on a daily basis and for free. I do not know why you have not subscribed yet. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more daily updates. Remember, knowledge is power, and we're here to empower you on your financial journey. Until next time, happy investing.